Hey, fight fans, this is Ted Check. Ronda Rousey is making the rounds uh, because she has a book coming out. And so she's not in the WWE anymore. She's not in the UFC anymore, but she has a book. This is her latest offering, is her latest memoir. I think she already had one. I mean, she's 37. She's had two memoirs. I don't know. But anyway, um, so she has this book coming out. So she's doing all the interviews and stuff like that to promote the book. And this is something interesting that she said. Actually, it's kind of expected.
Fight, everybody felt like, oh, she's a fraud.
She's a
And
fraud.
I know
And
that
I
like
know that like
I'm the greatest
I'm the greatest
fighter
fighter
that has
that
ever
has
lived,
ever
but
lived, but
Yeah, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no to that. Okay, so let's put this in perspective. Was she a pioneer in women's MMA? Yes. What did she elevate the sport with her wins? The way that she won, the way that she dominated. Yes. Did she elevate it as far as her exposure? Because she got on Sports Illustrated, she got into the movies, all that kind of stuff. Yes, absolutely. But if you take a look at the devastating losses, she's 12-2. First of all, that's a low number. Like if you want to be considered the greatest, you've got to fight more than 14 times. 12-2, and so she has losses. She's not undefeated, and those last two losses were very devastating. She got kicked in the head and knocked out by Holly Holm. Then when she came back, she got destroyed on her feet. Basically, it was a knockout, or you could call it a TKO because she didn't hit the ground, but by Amanda Nunes. So, you can't have two just absolutely terrible losses on your record and say that you are the greatest. Now, what she says prior to that little clip that I showed you is that well, geez, she had suffered concussions, she had a bad mouth guard, she had a terrible weight cut. That's every fighter practically. Okay, that just about every fighter undergoes a really severe weight cut, and I don't think that's a story for another time, but I don't think that should be the case, but that's what they do. Okay, every fighter does that. Their weight is up. Like if you're a 205, or if you fight at 205, you're walking around 220, 230 in the off season, and then you cut to make your mark on one particular day, and then you gain back, 15 pounds overnight or whatever. That's every fighter. Every fighter just about is walking around, not necessarily concussed, but just about every fighter has suffered concussions in their lifetime, and we know that those can have a residual effect. So that's a lot of fighters. So basically, this is Ronda Rousey coming up with excuses. She's never come to terms. I'm not a psychiatrist, or psychologist, any of that, but it doesn't appear that she's ever come to terms with those losses. We saw after the Holly Holm loss, she couldn't even look anyone in the face. She had a pillow in front of her when she got off the plane in LAX. She's never been able to come to terms. It appears that she is somewhat of a narcissist, and kind of has this childlike, immature attitude that clearly she has never surmounted. She's never come to grips with that. To this day, making excuses. And it's kind of curious the timing of this book, because UFC tonight is having UFC 300, which is arguably its biggest event ever. WrestleMania just had its biggest, or WWE just had WrestleMania, and Ronda Rousey's not involved in either one of those. She left UFC. She became a professional wrestler, but now she's whining about that. She's saying, "Oh my God, I was treated horribly." Da 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 da. But you talk to other people, and they say, "Well, she had a crappy attitude about the whole thing." So it's unfortunate, but she's kind of her worst enemy in a way. Um, and the greatest of all time is just, I could think of just any number of people, George St. Pierre, Anderson Silva, John Jones, Conor McGregor. Like, I could go on and on. And even in the women's division, you could make arguments for other women who, are better than her. But, she has her place in history. I'll say that. She definitely, without a doubt, has her place in history. It's just that she can't be remembered, as the greatest. Also, like I said, because of the losses, but the way that she carried herself, with her attitude, she can't be considered the greatest. I think that also comes into play when you look at the greatest. How did a champion carry themselves? How did they present themselves? What was their demeanor? And hers was just, well, frankly, in the toilet. So there you go. There's my take on it. Let me know what you think.